Welcome to the very first episode of Wolf Mother Stories, where we share stories, inspiration, and just real stuff with amazing women who navigate life between being an entrepreneur and being a mom, a wolf and a mother. Today we are joined by Olimpia Hordynski, founder of Women in Sales Network, an amazing entrepreneur, community builder, networker, and speaker, just to name a few of her roles, on top of raising an almost 3-year-old son. Olympia, I'm so happy and thrilled to have you here today. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm really honored to be your very first guest. And now, how you introduce me, I hope this sets the expectation not too high. But thanks for the invitation. Happy to be here, and I'm great. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. How are you?
I'm also super excited. Let's maybe start from the beginning. Could you please tell us your story and why did you decided to start Women in Sales Network, which started first as a side hustle and now it became your full-time life and full-time job?
Yes. Okay, so why did I start this? Obviously, a story behind it. I was working in sales. It was 2019. It's quite important to know that because back then it sounds or feels like 100 years ago, before the pandemic. There weren't actually a lot of communities, especially sales communities and good ones out there. So when I was in a leadership position in a new startup, I found that I'm the only woman in a leadership position in the startup, except there was head of HR. But in the revenue related roles, I was the only female leader. My team was absolutely male and the C-level was male, and I just realized that 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the job there, and usually I wouldn't mind, but I very fast realized, okay, there are different communication styles, and I also was left out in some decision-making processes. I wouldn't say it was conscious. It's very important for me to say, okay, it was unconscious. But for me, I was thinking how and why this happened, much more how can we find a solution so this doesn't happen again, because they were starting to implement some new software. I wouldn't decide to do that. I would focus on other improvements, and maybe the story behind it, I have to elaborate a little bit more. The guys, the men, the C-level, head of marketing, director sales, they went for a football game to play football together, or soccer. I don't know what's the right expression. Let's say football. Fußball in Germany. And on the weekend, so they met, they played, and they discussed business. And on Monday, they started implementing a new software, and I was completely left out. And it wasn't consciously, because this is how they operated the whole time before I got there. So they didn't even think of including me in the process. And I was the new person, I was the new woman, I was the new co-leader there, and I was, a little bit confused, like, shouldn't they ask me? Shouldn't I tell them? But if you're new, and there are so many roles you have to play, I just tried to figure it out. And this is when I started to talk to other women and ask them, how do you do this? Because I was very new at this role, so I wanted to see, okay, how do other women in tech, where they very often are the only women in certain teams, how they deal with it. So I started to reach out to other women, asking them for advice. Somebody who was a VP sales for 10 years or 5 years or 3 years, somebody with so much more experience, because I want to find a solution very fast. How can I help grow my team? How can I grow revenue? And how can I find some solutions here for communicating and making the situation better on different levels? Then I realized, okay, there were 2 communities, sales communities in Berlin, and one of them was so bad I don't even mention this. And the other one was really good. It was called the Sales Masters Network, I think. It's really good. Max, if you hear this, hey, because I really want to mention this one. It was really great content. They really did great. However, I was one of the only 3 women there. So
Wow.
this is how I was also talking to the founder, and we talked about this fact. And he was like, "Hey, why don't you found something for the women?" And I was like, "Yeah, for women only, you know, I don't know." I wasn't sure this would be a hit, so I was like, "Yeah, but actually, right now, this is exactly my problem. I'm looking for how to exchange opinions and to be open about this challenge." And because I had this male, very young male team, and they wouldn't just you know, it wasn't working, and the communication, it was so hard to lead them, and I wanted to find a solution how to make better. So it was easier to talk to women because they have certain different challenges than men. I realized, and this is how I got my first impulse. Okay, let's try this. And when I talked to all the VP are more seasoned leaders, I realized they are not connected. Whenever I started talking and I was like, yeah, tomorrow I will be talking to that woman from this company, then the woman A would say, hey, I always want to talk to her. If she gives you feedback, can you give her feedback to me? And I realized they are not connected. They are not as good connected as I could see how men are, how strong they are. And this is why I was like, okay, I'm going to do just one event. Let's see if it's interesting. I want to learn a lot. I want to learn fast, and I want to connect with those women. So I'm going to do this event. This is my solution. This is my taking actions. And this is how it was born. I did my very first event on leadership in sales. I was looking for really high-level speakers, and they were very seasoned, very, very, very experienced, and open to share everything. And
That's great.
And also, I was just 2 weeks. It was super spontaneous. I was like, let's see in 2 weeks how many people will be there. And we had like 50 women there.
Wow.
I wasn't active on LinkedIn then. It was really just by recommendation. So yeah, this is how my first event got started and Women in Sales started.
So can I ask you, what did you actually do in the situation where the boys were playing football like on the weekends and they didn't include you? Because I think this is something that is a very feminine problem that occurs for any woman working in a man field, like not being included in those activities and not being even what do you do? Do you invite yourself in? Do you tell them that what did you do?
Okay, I founded Women in Sales Network. I found my community. Yeah, I asked all those women, you know, this is really this. And this is what you are doing. You're a female founder, and you want to talk to other founders who also are mothers, because there's another challenge, you know. So if you don't see there's a community there's something happening, just do it. And this is what I did. I just do it. This was my solution. Ask others, how did you do it? How did you get there? How would you solve it? You know, this is my solution. And no, I did not resolve it back at the day. Today I would act differently, I guess. Back then I was a little bit unsure what to do. So at first I observed. This is still something I'm doing. I try to analyze this situation first and not to take actions too fast. It took me a little bit too long, I think, to say something, but then there were a lot of things happening that shouldn't be happening. Which was one of the greatest lessons in my business life. So I'm grateful for the very not so good time. I promise not to use bad words in case my parents would listen. But so it was really a hard and challenging time. And I'm grateful because I wouldn't have Women in Sales Network. I wouldn't have met a lot of amazing women who could give me advice, who I could ask for advice. So yeah, this was my solution to find a community and talk how I can find a solution and act different in the next decision-making processes.
And I think that's great. You not only helped yourself, but you have like over 3,000 women in your community. So is this number correct?
A little bit more right now. I think we are close to 4,000 now. And yes, thank you. I still cannot believe it. It's like, yeah, it's 4,000. Why it's not 10? So come on, we can do better. But sometimes when I see the reactions, also a couple of months ago, we had a big event and it was with other networks where a lot of men were. And I remember there was somebody who didn't want to work with me 3 years ago, and now was very keen to work with me because of the achievements we had. This was something like when I realized, okay, yeah, I achieved something. So maybe also something for mothers who are founders. Don't forget to celebrate your achievement and to be conscious about this. Yeah.
Let's talk about sales now. Because I think let's maybe start with clearing a definition, but because I feel there are three terms that are kind of mean a very similar thing, which are sales, marketing, and personal branding. So could you maybe tell us how you feel those three terms differ and what's the difference between them?
That's a lot in one question. Thank you for challenging me. So the thing is, there's really no correct term, I would say. The first one is sales, you said, right? Sales, marketing, personal branding. So there are so many different possibilities. As a founder, I want to go from this angle. As a founder, you have to do everything. You have to do sales, you have to do marketing, and you have to do personal branding. I think it goes along, actually. Well, what is sales? Sales is actually the fundament of your business, because if you don't sell anything, you don't earn money. If you don't earn money, you cannot survive as a business and maybe even as a person later. So I think this is very, very important, especially for women founders.
Yeah.
Female founders, to be aware of the importance of sales. Without marketing, sales doesn't exist, because if you don't promote, if you don't tell the world what you are doing, what you are offering, what you're producing, what you're selling, there's no sales. So it has to go together, hand in hand, sales and marketing. We can deep dive later maybe what it is, because I try to do it on.
Yeah.
And then there's personal branding. I think personal branding nowadays is super important, especially as a founder. I always bring Elon Musk to the table. We can also talk about Oprah Winfrey if you're more comfortable with that. But Elon Musk is a good example of how it works. I think Tesla, everybody knows. Elon Musk, everybody knows. Musk has more followers than Tesla has, for example, on social media. So he is the best marketing channel for selling. And there is all the three things in one question. He is the best channel to make it popular, to market, and then to drive sales for the business. So this is how important your personal brand is, to align with marketing and sales, especially as a founder, and really especially as a female founder.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you. Yes, Elon Musk nowadays is not very, let's say, popular name to bring up, but you're right. It is a good example of how powerful personal branding can be. However, out of those three, sales tends to get the worst rap. So kind of you would more often hear people say, especially females, like, oh, like, I don't know how to sell. I don't want to be pushy. So what's your take on this? What do you think? Why do you think it is? And what would be your solution for that?
First of all, really take a good look at your why. There is a reason why you founded this, why you are the founder. You think that you found a nice idea, a product, a solution for something, right? So I think this should be, you're passionate about it. Write it down. Put it on paper, even frame it if you need it, and put it on your desk wherever you can see it, because this is why your why is how you sell it. You're helping people. So this is the mindset. You're helping people to have a better life because of your product. I think this is the mindset you have to have as a founder for a start.
So this is how would you start, and what about next steps?
Yeah.
Could you maybe give tips like about how, because this is the mindset is a great thing, but then comes the actual sales. Like, is there a way you can learn how to sell?
Yes, ChatGPT, baby. Nowadays, there's no better way, really. I mean, I hesitated for so long, and I'm still trying out so many prompts, but use ChatGPT, and even to overcome certain things. This is one thing. If you want some prompts, I can share them with you. Make a plan.
That would be great.
At first you need a strategy. And therefore, this tool is amazing. But yes, you need a strategy. What sales is sales marketing strategy. Put it on paper. Talk to people. Again, community. Talk to other founders. Reach out to sales or revenue experts. If you ask people for feedback, this is a strength. You are strengthening your own expertise, and you get feedback. You can only learn from this. This is the first thing, really, to have a strategy, and then also an action plan, really, and work with coaches if you need it. Ask for advice, ask for feedback. I know how hard it is because I also have to work on this all the time. It's not like I'm super amazing at sales all the time, every day. We have good days, we have bad days, but as soon as you have your first sale, when you have the second one, you're getting better and better. And the first success always gives you some energy, and then, yes, and then you keep going and just never give up. And I think this is so important for us women to know, that you're not the only one hesitating and having this feeling like, I'm selling, I know there's this, how do you call it in a car, with a handbrake, handbrake. So driving a car with this, because you feel like there's something in your stomach because you don't feel comfortable.
Wow,
Just
that's
talk to
such
people.
a great metaphor.
Yeah, and then you cannot drive with full, so you have to find a solution. Everyone has a different, for me, it helps talking to people. For me, this is why I founded my community. This is why I love talking to female founder communities, because I want to give it back. I want really, don't waste time on this little tiny voice in your head. That's just a voice. It's not real, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. I think this is why we are like, what if somebody thinks you're an idiot? There are 1,000 people that will think you're an idiot, but maybe 10,000 they don't. It's like, this is life. There are people who like you, there are people who don't. Concentrate on the positive people, on the positive feedback, and learn from mistakes, learn from negative feedback, but focus, especially people-wise, on the positive. There will be customers who are really slowing you down, processes, and just say no at the first moment you feel and you see this is not helping. I've had customers, that I should have said no to, because they cost me much more time and effort. It wasn't worth it, because I wanted, I don't know why I wanted to work. So focus on those thoughts, I would say, for this beginning. Was this an answer that makes sense? I don't know.
Yes. No, absolutely. Is there a difference on how you do sales for when you were in leadership roles and now when you do it for your own business?
Definitely. I mean, every day I have to fight this inner voice as well. And so getting back at the first, and I don't have a team with 20 account executives and 10 SDRs. Founder says you're doing everything by yourself. So it's back to, cold calling, maybe not cold calling, but, using your personal brand, being more out there. I have to admit, sometimes it's easier to hide behind your team, and I want to say army of people, I don't know, but behind your team, maybe not hide, but having them helping you. This is amazing if you have so many people, and you can focus on the strategy. And now as a founder, you have to strategize, and you are the one who's executing it as well.
Yeah.
It's tough. I want to be honest about that. It's not easy. However, it's also the best way to learn, because you're doing it by yourself. So hopefully in 1, 2, 3 years, you will have a team. Then you will have the expertise to say, yes, this is how it's done. I've done that, yes, this is my experience. Also, founder sales can be easier. This is the benefit of it. If you do your personal branding, if you're out there, if you're telling people about what you're doing, and you can be seen as an expert, people are interested in you, you have more visibility, and it's sometimes easier if they come straight to you and there's no process. If you have like 10 people, they have to go as a customer first to talk to you, You know, it's everyone wants to talk to the CEO. So they, as the founder, you're the CEO. So you're the salesperson and CEO in one. And this can be a big advantage. So I would use that. Also, however, I'm aware it is time consuming. And this is where you have to also be aware of how much time this actually can take, and it takes time.
Yeah. So how do you see motherhood relate to women in sales? And is there a place for mothers in sales?
Oh, definitely. Talking about motherhood. So I love being a mom. It's the best adventure. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Still, you being a
On
mom
most days.
yourself. Yes. And I feel motherhood, and for my network, it gave me a different angle, to be honest. And I'm very grateful to have so many mothers in my community I could learn from. It helped me so much. And also talking as a founder now to other female founders who are mothers, this is amazing. Also talking to customers who are mothers, game changer. So they understand. And motherhood for women in sales is being in a sales role is the best thing as the mother who is an employer, I would say, because you're so flexible, especially in tech sales, more than in other jobs, I would say. You have kind of a CEO or leader role, even as an account executive, because you can make your own decisions. You can own your calendar mostly. So you have a certain amount of flexibility, which you don't have in a lot of different other jobs, you know. So motherhood and sales go together a lot. I would say that.
I think it's very interesting what you said about customers that are mothers, and what a game changer it would be, because I think this is also like kind of like our opportunity that we can use, that it's true that boys tend to form like stronger bonds and connections, but I think like between moms and sharing this experience of being on a other planet is a bit of an unused or rarely used resource that we have. What do you think about it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's why I'm a huge fan of you, without making this super advertising. But when we met, this was what we talked about, right? And this is how I realized how helpful it is. As a founder, I have a lot of other founders around me. Talking to female mother founders is really so amazing, because doing projects with mothers, you know, we have to be agile. Sometimes deadlines have to be shifted. And it's not like, oh, okay, again, it's more like, okay, how can I help? We can meet at 10 o'clock in the evening sometimes because the kids are sleeping. I do a lot of things in the evening hours, which is okay for me.
Yeah, actually 10 p.m. is often less controversial hours for moms to meet than, for example, like 4 or p.m., which is time with kids, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Still, I don't want to advertise it, because, you know, everyone has their own times. Some people are already asleep at 9. Sometimes I sleep at 9, because if my little one needs me, is sick, you cannot do any, even if the kid is sleeping at 8, 9, you're exhausted. I think at this point, it's also very important to say it depends on a kid. It depends on how many kids you have. I mean, you have 2, kudos. I have 1, that's enough for me. So everyone has a different energy level, how much they can manage, and even in the evenings. And if you have teenagers, you know, it's kind of, this is like, you don't have really kids anymore, you know, it's like hi, bye, and that's it. So it really also depends on the age of the kids. The babies have a different need, and you have to be for them a little bit differently. They sleep more, so you can, you know, do a lot of emails where they are sleeping, but then they are less and less sleeping, but they really want your attention. If they 3, 4, 5, they really, you cannot be working and having your kid here. I don't know this. This is my own thing, maybe. So be aware of the age of the kids is one thing. I think this is also a very positive thing. It's just a limited area of time. They will grow up at some point, so you will be back to what my life is my life again to 100%. So I think this is also very important to know. And back to the working with mothers. Yes, it's okay to have meetings at 6 in the morning or 10 o'clock in the evening, whatever, if every party is fine with it. I think this is so important. I wouldn't wouldn't demand it. If you have a team of 10 people and you're the only one who can attend at 10 in the evening, I wouldn't recommend to, so this is also very, very important to be very empathic here as well, in both ways.
Yeah, true. I want to now ask you about your network, but actually not only your network, but kind of your village and your support system, which I think being like combining your role of mom and an entrepreneur, this is like particularly important to have a support system, because what if
Yes.
you get a call from kindergarten, and we tend to get those calls every now and then, and we need to reschedule and everything, so you just cannot do it without a support system. So how do you deal with that?
I am super glad that you asked, because I am a rare example that I don't really have a big support system. And I really like to talk about this, to especially address young mothers, young aspiring mothers, and young aspiring female founders, mothers who are mothers, to know how important a support system is and how important it is to manage your time and find the support system. So you wanted to see my example. I'm telling you how it is for me. So my kid is almost 3 years old. We started kindergarten 9 months ago, 10 months ago. This one is new, and now it's my partner, the kindergarten, and me. This is my whole system. So if my kid is sick, my husband and I, we sit down and restructuring the day, the week, ad hoc, spontaneously. And we have questions like, okay, what's bringing you money? If my husband has a big workshop with 10 people, with the customers, he can do that, and I will reschedule my podcast, for example, where I was invited to. Priorities. You have to prioritize. If I have a special client call and he has the podcast interview, it would be vice versa. So this is the 50-50.
Kind of follow the money.
Priorities, yes, of course, money. But if there are 10 people waiting for these workshops, and there are 2 people, you can easier change something with one person than the whole team waiting for you.
Absolutely.
So it's revenue, because we need to survive. We need revenue for the family. So yes, but also priorities. What's really important, also long-term, short-term now. So we've learned to make these decisions very quickly, and this is my support system. If I am sick and my kid is sick, my husband has to step up, and also he's not working, so there are 2 people not working because I'm sick, and he has to help me and the kid. So this is how it works for now for us. If everything is amazing, my kid goes to the kindergarten, and in the afternoon one day I'm picking him up, the next day my husband. So this is how we are splitting up. This is my reality. So just by listening to it, you can see how challenging it can be. And I'm also, sometimes I think I'm an exception, but I have heard a lot of entrepreneurs, especially couples who are entrepreneurs, that they do not have additional help. Yes, I'm thinking about having a babysitter from now and then, because of the age where I feel comfortable that my kid will be with a babysitter. We moved to a small village where we are far, far away from our parents, so no family in this area. This is the reason. And not everybody has that. I have a friend, she will have like 5 family members within 5 minutes. So this is, if you have this possibility, be nice to your family, involve them. And I have a friend, she's a single mom, and as soon as she was pregnant, she organized everything. She really any shopping anymore, because she's outsourcing this. She's using, all the apps you can have, especially in Berlin, in big cities. You don't have to go to a supermarket. You can have this brought to you. It's not the perfect apple. It's not the apple that you, or avocado that you would choose, but this is, you cannot have it all at the same time, but somebody's bringing you the groceries, so you don't have to go to the market, And then she has somebody who is just, helping with the household and twice a week the grandmother is coming. So she's super organized. She's paying for some people to help her. This is how she manages, and she manages amazingly, you know. But talking to other mothers, everyone is struggling at some point. Yeah, somehow. So I think this is just important to be aware what is your support system, and to become flexible, and also to set some expectations to yourself, to your partner, your life partners, your community partners, you know, and also partners in terms of supporters and clients. And this is the most important thing, to be aware of those things that you can fulfill and not, and adjust accordingly every week whenever you can.
To be honest, I don't think that you're exception, and I think there's also like a big reason for me why to do the Wolf Mothers, and because I think you're in the majority of people who struggle with this and don't have like a big family support network, and have to work with outsourcing, with delegating, and with not having and having to have it built. I'm in the same situation. I don't have my parents or my parents-in-law nearby. And in our case, my husband has a full-time job. So kind of where the money goes, he's at this point always a priority, or his full-time job is a priority. It all have its upsides and downsides. But I think especially, you know, like in big cities, living in big cities like Berlin, we all find ourselves a bit dissociated from our family networks. So we have to build them on our own, just like business networks as well. And this is also like kind of like one of the last things that I would like to ask you to, because I see it also as a part of sales, or maybe more on the personal branding side of sales. But how could you give us some tips on how do you find your like supporters or mentors in your career and your entrepreneurship?
How do I find my supporters and mentors? I don't have mentors. I never had. I always wished for them. Even now, I'm kind of looking around a little bit to shop a mentor. However, for me, sparring is working better. I love sparring partnerships. So I have 1, 2, 3 sparring partners right now, where I do monthly calls with, and also one of them is a man who is in marketing. We worked together. We were both VPs. He was VP marketing. I was VP business development and sales. And this is how our friendship started. And we are sparring every month. We are talking about our challenges. And we are talking about business, we are talking about sales, we are talking about marketing, we are giving each other feedback. And we are talking about families. You know, he has 3 kids, and how they manage, how I manage. Also interesting to see it from a male perspective, you know. So also think about the box. This is just an example I want to share, that it doesn't have to, it has to be, when we are very female community related now, but also super important to think outside a little bit. And how do I have another sparring partner I want to mention, is a woman who has another community, also her a business, so kind of 2 businesses. She just had her second child, and we are also making a lot of projects together and exchanging opinions, and I think, and exchanging knowledge, you know. Mm-hmm. If I see, okay, I ask, how did you manage? Or I don't know, you know, I don't know how to do, or this person just, you know, annoys me. I don't know what it is. I had this situation, like, I don't know. And then she gives me feedback, you know, like, okay, did you ask this? How, why? And then it's a very important sparring partnership for me, where you can be honest, you can be your true self, and give each other feedback, and ideally also have some projects together. I think it's always, for me, it always helps to have examples. That's why I'm sharing these examples with you. And that's why I love sparring much more than mentoring, because I don't get me wrong, but I never met somebody who I feel, I don't know, I can look up to, like, this is, please tell me how to do it. I don't feel I need a teacher. I love partnerships more. This doesn't mean mentoring doesn't make sense. It makes totally sense. I also just wasn't lucky, or I didn't feel comfortable asking somebody so far. So mentoring can be amazing. I know I have a lot of people around myself that they are looking for. And how did I find those sparring partners in my case? I reached out. I asked, hey, shall we do a monthly? How do you feel about that? And I've had this partnership. I recently asked somebody else, and she was like, I have 3 sparring partners already. Time-wise, I cannot do this, which I found amazing, this honesty and saying, okay, this is I have to be careful about my own resources and energy and my calendar. So this is what I admire and I work on constantly. So just reach out to people, join us at the Wolf Mothers community meeting, talk to other mothers who are in the community, and you will meet somebody that you click with. This is so important. Just, this vibe you have with somebody like we had, it was like, for me, it was like, oh, you have the same challenges as a mom, as a founder. Oh, it was me. Like I just said, I feel like I'm an exception. It's what we all always feel like. I'm the only one having this challenge. And then we talk and you see, oh, we all have the same challenge. And we talk about these challenges. We don't have to make the mistakes all over it. We can help each other. So this is a good starting point to go to the community meetings, find your tribe, find your women, talk and see if you can meet for a coffee. And if it makes sense to you, challenge each other. If you feel like you can trust this person, you can open up a little bit more. Just try it out. And sometimes you may have 3 meetings and it's like, hey, it's not working. I don't know. It's better we go just for coffee, but we are not good with having structured meetings. That's fine as well. Don't put so much pressure. And simply reach out. Simply ask somebody, hey, I saw your LinkedIn profile. This is so exciting what you are doing. Do you have 15 minutes left or 13 minutes? It's also a good trick to ask for 13 minutes. Or 10 minutes left? I would like to talk to you about this and this. But also, if somebody asks me, for example, I want to know, what's your problem? What do you want? Why should I take 5 or 10 minutes of my super busy schedule to talk to you? So be precise. What can you offer? And if you feel you cannot offer anything right now, you can say it as well. I cannot offer you anything right now, but maybe you can give back, and maybe in the future I can give back, whatever. Be honest, communicate, and it's a great compliment if you get asked for an advice. So it's really my biggest tip, just go for it and ask.
That's true. Like I think we underestimate how people would love to help us, and how I always give this tip, like if somebody's like unsure about or this is also what I'm trying to give myself, because asking for help is a huge problem for me. I always try to memorize the last time that somebody asked me for help and how did it made me feel, and usually amazing and appreciated and valued. And so this is how we are going to make other person feel.
Absolutely.
And that's a great thing to do. But to slowly wrap it up, also a bit in the spirit of women underselling themselves, or tend to undersell themselves. Olimpia, what's your superpower?
Oh wow, this is a good one. I think connecting people, actually. I think really this is my superpower. I was always interested in biographies and people, and I love to listen to the stories. And then when somebody is talking to me about a problem, a challenge, or looking for advice, it kind of clicks just inside. Hey, you should talk to this person. You should meet. And I don't know. I think this is my superpower, connecting people.
It's great. So to wrap it up, if you could share a small nugget of wisdom for somebody who thinks sales is this scary, pushy thing that they don't imagine themselves doing, what's the wisdom you have to share for them?
I hope I shared some inspirations already. To wrap it up, to have the last words, just do it. Really, don't overthink. And what helps me every day is perfectionism kills process. Really, if you always want to be perfect, over prepared, you will kill yourself and not get in the next step. Just do it, learn from it, do it again. And you are the founder of whatever you are doing because you believe this is great. Make other people see why this is great, and this is sales. I hope it helps.
Yeah. Thank you, Olimpia, so much for joining us today, and I just couldn't be happier for you to be my first guest. I think you're so inspiring and so full of energy and just so full of wisdom. I'm so happy that we managed to share this in this short episode. Any of you listening now is missing some questions or would love to ask Olimpia more questions, lucky for you, we have an event coming up soon in Berlin. Really strongly encourage you to meet us at an intimate dinner and ask Olimpia more questions about what would you like to know about sales, but maybe we're afraid to ask.
That's amazing. I'm really super excited about this dinner, and really feel free to reach out, ask me any questions on LinkedIn. I think it will be in the show notes, our LinkedIn pages and the event. And if you can, Anna has such a great place where we can meet, and it will be an amazing restaurant. It will be very, very how do you say, confidential and cozy and honest, and I'm super excited to the dinner. So come and join us.
Me too. So come and join us, and and I'll see you all in the next episode of Wolf Mother Stories. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.